this video, I will take you through the simple tips on drawing the diagram, if at all it comes relating to income expenditure model, wherein you got to ensure that a couple of conditions are essentially met. So, to start with, on the income expenditure model, ensure to label it correctly. On the y-axis it is E. On the x-axis it has got the income, and that's the reason it is called income expenditure model. Now we draw a 45-degree angle line, which is called the income line, and then the consumption. This is a consumption line. As in our earlier video with the equations, you remember that the point where y is equal to c, it is called the break-even point, right? Now, if you want to show now the equilibrium income, wherein you take into consideration the overall expenditure, you draw another line, that is the aggregate expenditure line, and the point where y is equal to aggregate expenditure is called the equilibrium income. This is the first condition. Here you have gotten y equals to c, that is break even. Condition 2, y equals to aggregate expenditure, that is equilibrium income. However, if you had to actually integrate the investment and the saving in this particular diagram, how will you ensure that the second condition is met? Let's look at this. So for break even, we know that the savings must be equal to 0 in this particular case at the break even, right? Similarly, at the equilibrium income, savings must be equal to investment. So let's put it up here as investment, for example, right? And if you can recollect, savings at the start, because of the autonomous consumption, are negative, and all you're doing is draw another line here as in savings and ensure that your these two conditions are met. So here you can see savings is equal to 0 at break even, and then you should draw the investment line at the end so that your diagram is picture perfect and you can score full marks, right? Did you get this? And here the savings, and you know the savings equation is minus a plus 1 minus cy. This is not very legible on this particular board, but I hope you're getting the step-by-step process. The first thing you did was the consumption and the income line, drew the break-even, and then drew the aggregate expenditure line where it is equal to income, and that becomes the equilibrium income. Condition 2 is for break-even, savings must be 0, and for equilibrium income, not only aggregate expenditure is equal to the income, but also savings are equal to investment, and that is because withdrawals, in other words, are equal to injections. That's what you got to remember, and please remember that the savings are, to start with, negative, and that's called autonomous savings, or alternatively you call that as dis savings. I hope this technique of drawing this diagram onto a perfect manner is going to help you. That's it.